right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena after Natasha Cloud got that bucket. She wanted her voice heard.
Imagine being so stupid that a man shows up literally trying to help save the sport that you play in, and you get so mad at him that you get him kicked out of the game simply for sitting in the bleachers wearing a t-shirt with the Merriam-Webster definition of female on it. Because did you see this dude when he stood up? It was like watching a rabbit pick a fight with an eagle. Because one day a dude like that is going to sashay his way into the WNBA, and there won't be a thing you can do about it because all of the people who would have stood up to support you, you got kicked out of the room. At this point, the WNBA is less of a sports league and more of a Shakespearean comedy, and the women are making themselves the butt of the joke.
Messages for Natasha Cloud and the WNBA. If you are not either of them, feel free to keep scrolling, but if you want, you can keep listening. Okay, so this is an apple and this is an orange. They are very different. An orange can never be an apple and an apple can never be an orange. I find it interesting when people get upset when someone will say that an orange cannot be an apple, and they'll even wear a shirt. They'll even wear a shirt and say an apple is with the definition, and then people get upset about that. This orange might want to compete in the apple contest, but guess what? The orange can't ever compete accurately because it's not an apple. Orange apple, orange apple. Yeah, orange apple, orange apple. Here's the thing. You can dress up this orange, but it still won't be an apple. It does not matter how much an orange claims to be an apple, it'll never be one. Now, Natasha and the WNBA, what amazes me is that people can sit around a table and try to define what an apple is, but not truly define it. Apples and oranges shouldn't compete together. They're different. They should have separate competitions. That's my message. Hope this message gets to you well. 2026. Let's keep talking about it, right? Can't believe we're talking about the differences between these.
What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys pulling up today. We got to talk about it. We got to continue to have this conversation. I know everybody else is talking about it, so we got to touch base with it here. I do appreciate that there are people that are out there supporting Enes Kanter, and they're supporting women's sports in general. Men are men, women are women. There's two genders, male, female. Simple as that. This would be a mute point if the WNBA had leadership with the spine. Kathy Engelberg, they had an opportunity 2 weeks ago to declare and say, you know what? We're not allowing any biological males in our league. And this would be over with. But because they are afraid of the alphabet woke mafia, they have kowtowed and capitulated to the foolery, all in the quote unquote name of inclusion. This continues. This league is a joke. I've said it a multitude of times. It's hands down the gayest league in all of professional sports. I think the NBA needs to get out of the WNBA business. I know a lot of these billionaires, they buy these teams. They have these WNBA teams as write-offs because they don't make any money, but they need to get out of the business. Well, the other thing I'd like to see is sponsors get out of the WNBA business. This league isn't about sports. It's not about entertaining people. It's about virtue signaling and pushing a wicked, demonic agenda. Simple as that. This Tasha McCloud play ball. This guy sitting at the daggone game, somewhat courtside with a t-shirt on that defines a woman, which is a Webster definition. Be mad at Webster. But why are you upset with him? So much so that you had to go and yell and confront this man. It makes absolutely no sense. We're going to get into some more. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. This league's crazy. Every time, and I don't watch much basketball, but every time I try to give these ladies a shot, I've tried to watch the basketball. It's terrible. Even with Caitlin Clark out there, and I know she can hoop, but this league's trash, man. The basketball is trash. I'd rather pay less money to watch boys varsity basketball. That's a fact.
With one of the players. The player was Natasha Cloud right there, walking up and yelling at him. You can see his T-shirt. It says, woman, noun, adult, human, female. He's standing up for women's sports.
So Natasha Cloud was happy that she hit a three-pointer. So she screamed at Enes Kanter. He got up. He's 6'10", and let him know, what's your problem? I'm allowed to sit here and wear a T-shirt and root for Sophie Cunningham. What's the problem with that? And next thing you know, they throw him out of the game.
So he's on the right side of the issue because men should not be playing in women's sports. It just should not happen.
But he will be. He'll be drafted in the spring.
But I also don't agree with him stepping up to her. Like, a man shouldn't do that. It just shouldn't happen.
She shouldn't step to him either. We got to stop cowtelling to these women like this. These are the same women that say that men and women are equal. There's no difference, and they can't tell you the actual definition of a woman. So these are just two people. She walked towards him aggressively. He ain't supposed to back down and cow down to some little 5'0" chick. Now, I like Lawrence. He a good dude. I like him. But I understand. People who consider themselves women, yes, you respect them in that way. The way she came across, as aggressive as she came across, oh, no, no, you don't get lady treatment acting like that.
He just stood up.
No, but he walks toward her. You shouldn't do that as a man. He's too big for that. I understand and I stand with him on highlighting this issue. But I hope women see now that are on this court that there is a biological difference. But this is what happens.
But Cloud began yelling at Cantor,
which is wrong,
who stood up and walked towards the court. An official and security personnel immediately jumped in.
And that shouldn't have happened.
And they tell him to leave. Here's what he said after.
Before they get into that, this dude's a fan. The fact that she is yelling at a fan, she should be suspended. She should have received the tech, and she should be suspended. That's what I'm talking about. This league is trash. Could you imagine male basketball players yelling and screaming at fans in this manner? People that paid a ticket to come and watch y'all play ball? ESPN would be going crazy on the player. But they allow these women to get in their feelings and to behave in a way that's unbecoming of a professional basketball player whose job is to entertain. That's what I don't think these women understand. Y'all wanted all the money. When it comes with the money, you got a job to do. Your job is to entertain. It doesn't matter if they heckle. It doesn't matter if they wear a shirt that you don't like. It doesn't matter if they boo. Your job is to play basketball. Your job is to entertain. Simple as that. Now, if he's calling you out of your name or something along those lines, I can understand saying, hey, we need this fan removed. But being a fan, cheering or booing, that's his right. He paid for it. He paid a ticket. People forget that fan stands for fanatic. What are we doing? This league is ridiculous, man. This league is ridiculous. And she should be suspended at least one game.
Sophie Cunningham shot a three, and I put my hands up to celebrate, right? Literally a couple position later, Natasha came back and started screaming and yelling and said, she's not going to sleep with you. And I was like, I am not trying to sleep with her. I'm just here to protect women and support her. And then obviously after that, she started yapping and she started to walk towards me. And literally I just got up and then I was like, I'm just here to protect women, and that's all.
So Enes played 11 seasons, and now he wants to play for the WNBA because he says, well, look, I could say that I identify as a woman. I want to play. Put me in. So he went to this game to support Sophie Cunningham. And, you know, when all these stories pop up, the message gets muddled, right, guys? I mean, the message that Sophie wants to tell everyone is, I love everybody. This is not about trans athletes.
This league is a joke. And these are some of the most sensitive, entitled, babied, and pampered women in all of professional sports. I don't think it's close. I don't think there is a professional league and professional athletes more babied, pampered, entitled than people that are in this league here. They're also crazy as all get out. There is something going on with this league. I don't know what it is. I know there's 180 players. The large majority of them are part of the alphabet community. There is something going on in this league. There is some form of chemical imbalance or something like that going on, because this shouldn't push you this far. It just shouldn't. Last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, Natasha McLeod is an actual biological woman. So, like, why are you all up in arms about this? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Enes Kanter is going about this in a weird way, but he's actually doing a service to women to protect women. And the audacity of people going against him to protect y'all is nuts to me.
Yeah.
Natasha Cloud ran up to Enes Kanter in the middle of the third quarter because he had a shirt on that said woman now. Like, he's in support of women for women in sports. I don't understand how y'all don't get that. And I see a lot of people coming out about what Enes Kanter is doing. Like, there's a lot of black men, oh, you treating our women. He's actually on your side, you morons. You are fighting against what he's trying to protect that y'all want protected. Women playing against women in women's sports. There's no hate towards trans women. Like, this has been stated numerous times, and it started with the Sophie Cunningham, with Sophie Cunningham and what she stood for and what she said, and now it's just getting overblown into another situation with Enes Kanter and the direction he's taking it. But he's not wrong for what he's doing. Maybe, like I said, he might be going about it in a weird way, but he's actually on women's side.
No, he's just calling their bluff. I don't think it's weird. He's calling their bluff. If you're telling me that anybody can be a woman, it's just a vibe, it's just a feeling, then prove it. I'm calling your bluff, and I'm letting you know, hey, I'm ready to play. I'm putting my name in the WNBA 2027 WNBA draft, whether I get drafted or I go in as a undrafted free agent, and he's going to go in there. This dude's a 6'10", 6'11" NBA player. And people will come out and say, oh, he's just a failed NBA player. He played in the NBA for 11 seasons. There ain't nothing failed about that. On top of that, he'll average 11 and 8. 11 points, 8 rebounds in the NBA. The greatest basketball league in the world. We're talking about the top 0.0001% of basketball players in the world. This dude averaged 11 and 8. Not a bum. Not a bum. I mean, you're talking about, when you're in the NBA, you're talking about being one of the best, 300 or 400 basketball players in the world while you're in the league. And he was that for 11 years straight.
I thought Enes Kanter was trolling, but he actually might be trying to play in the WNBA, bro. Like, I just seen him get kicked out of the game today because one of the WNBA players and him got into it. And I mean, I don't know what to think about this topic. Like, I thought they was trolling, but I don't know if they're trolling. I don't think they're trolling. Like, I genuinely think he's trying to be in the WNBA. And I think it's because, like, did some WNBA players they would accept the transgender woman in the league.
Yeah, they did say that. They would welcome it, is what they said.
Today is the day of a tragedy, a real setback for all of women's rights everywhere, and we need to talk about it. This brave, courageous, bold woman was kicked out of a WNBA game last night because she wore this t-shirt. Woman, noun, adult, human, female. In case you haven't been following any of this for the last few weeks, Enes Kanter Freedom has recently announced that she is going to be entering the WNBA draft, considering we don't even know what a woman is, and this is so wildly offensive. And she, if we're following all the playbook rules here, decided to attend a WNBA game last night to show support for women's sports, before getting flipped off by the women's NBA players and promptly escorted out of the arena.
Point basketball game. Chicago staying in it. Natasha Cloud. And right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena after Natasha Cloud got that bucket. She wanted her voice heard. We have talked about the conversations surrounding the W. That is Enes Kanter in the building today. And he has voiced how he's felt about the situation.
Because you don't actually believe that a man is a woman? Because we actually know what a woman is, and we can indeed answer that question, even though performatively we stuck a bunch of women for the WNBA in a boardroom a few days ago to sit around a conference table for hours and hours and hours, and they could not answer that question. Just to be clear, just making sure we're following all the rules here. This image is legendary. The iron, this picture speaks 10 million words. You finally have a man who has the courage to stand up for women, women's rights, women's only spaces, women's equality, literally wearing a t-shirt in support of women, saying they are adult human females, and the woman in the room is flipping him the bird. as she is privileged to play in her own league because of people who stand up for women's spaces. The biggest irony about all of this is until like 5 minutes ago, no one cared about the WNBA. People really didn't care about women's sports at all. Sorry to be that blunt about it. But we literally had to create an entire false marketing campaign with t-shirts saying everyone watches women's sports when they did not, actually. And now that you're seeing a movement to protect women's sports, you are the fascist.
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, man. It's the craziest thing ever. And what's really sad is that you got weak soy boy beta males caping up for this trash league. It's insane to me, man.
I think the most annoying thing about the whole Enes Freedom situation, this stupid little protest that he's doing, is that he wasn't a complete bust in his career. Like, he didn't have an amazing career, you know, he's forgettable, but he played for a while, you know, he stayed pretty consistent with his points per game through the seasons. Like, he wasn't absolutely horrible, but for some reason, upon retirement, it's at the end of the day, it's a braggable.
You know, I don't think we should listen to any grown man that has, you know, Spider-Man posters on the wall in his living room. Yeah, I don't know if we should do that. You know, it's one thing if you got a man cave and you're really into Marvel like that. I know some guys that are like that, but this is what, you know what? Come on, bro. 11-8 in the NBA. Not a bum. 11 seasons. Average NBA career is just under 3. This dude's above average in that category. And he was a big. Bigs in today's age aren't really known for scoring like that.
Enes Kanter is a loser. This isn't about who you think a man or a woman is. This is about a guy whose entire identity since leaving the NBA has increasingly become politics. And now he's using the WNBA to push whatever his agenda is. It's lame. This man actually announced that he's entering the WNBA draft, and he's getting other guys to do it too. For what? The WNBA has never had a transgender woman in the league. So how strong is your own agenda, Enes, if you have to...
They actually have. They've actually had a trans individual in the league. It just happened to be a woman who is, quote unquote, transitioning to a man, if you believe in that sort of thing, but decided that they wanted to continue playing women's sports because they know they couldn't go and play in the NBA. You notice this thing only happens with men into women's sports. It never happens the other way around. You're never going to see a woman trying to act like a man and think she's about to go and compete in any facet, in any arena with men. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You know it. I know it.
I'm not giving Enes Kanter freedom donkey today because he believes biological males shouldn't compete against biological females in women's sports. I agree with him on that. Okay, that's not even a debate for me. And I just think it's pointless to argue when you know it's only being used as a distraction because the midterms are right around the corner and Republicans can't win on policy. So they would rather drag people into another stupid culture war. You
hear what this dude said? Republicans can't win on policy. Republicans have the policies. Someone in the comment section, name me a Democrat policy that's worth anything other than pregnancy terminations. Name me another one.
Debate so they can claim to be the party of common sense and Dems the party of people who don't know if men can have babies or not. Okay, I'm giving Enes donkey.
Is that not true though?
Today because this guy has somehow decided that the best way to protect women's basketball is to disrupt women's basketball. Okay, you, Enes, have become what you claim to hate because I haven't seen anyone threaten women's basketball more than you. Okay, do you think those women felt safe with your big 6'10" ass out there trolling them and then had the nerve to stand up and act like you was about to step to one of them? Make that make sense to me. Okay, see, Enes isn't...
She stepped first. I can't listen to any more of this. People got to stop acting like she didn't aggressively yelling, pointing, flicking the bird off at this man. You don't get a pass because you got ovaries. You don't get a pass, especially when you don't know what a woman is. You don't get a pass in this way. We have to stop this. If you want to be treated like a lady in a traditional way, I need ladies to start conducting and carrying themselves in that manner. Simple as that. This is a mess, man. I'm glad somebody is calling it out. And this wouldn't even be an issue without the start of this from that messy ESPN reporter who asked Sophie Cunningham the question about this particular issue, and she gave an honest answer, and all heck broke loose from there. All because you got some messy ESPN reporter that wanted to get something started, and I'm sure she's sitting back giggling and laughing because this is still a thing based off an interview that she did months ago that is still going. This also lets you know how irrelevant this league is, that people spend more time talking about things off the court than they do about the basketball, because the basketball, the on-court play is garbage. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family. Buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. I appreciate you guys supporting what we're doing over here. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.